Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku podcast. How is everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet fan here, and I'm so excited to be back here tonight to talk awesome manga. And not just any manga, we are starting to cover Kaiju number 8, the awesome book created by Naoya Matsumoto. It's been blowing up on the bookshelves. It's going to get an anime adaptation by Toho because Godzilla. And it's just overall very awesome. And we can't wait to talk about it. We're covering chapter 1 in this video. And if you guys like it, we're going to keep covering the series as it publishes because Kaiju number 8 is pretty awesome. If you love what we do here at the Amateur Otaku Pod, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the like button, and click on the bell for notifications so you do not miss any coverage of the Kaiju number 8 manga and our thoughts. And as usual, I say our thoughts because I don't do this by myself. I cover awesome manga and anime with the one and only Isaac Wolf. What is up, man?
What is up? I'm just here talking yet with some more manga goodness, as you like to point it out.
Yes, it's manga and it's goodness and it's amazing and it's glorious. And I'm going to stop. So, Kaiju number 8, awesome book, very interesting. We're covering chapter 1. What I love about most mangas is that the first chapter on a new series tends to be the longest one. And I appreciate it because they give you just the right amount of goodness for you to decide if it's something that you want to follow up with, right?
Hmm.
So Kaiju number 8, first chapter is like 60 pages. It's available on Viz Media, so you can definitely check it out there as part of your
Manga
subscription.
Plus here.
Manga Plus in Scandinavia.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think it's even in US also because I know Manga Plus is an international site slash
oh,
app.
nice, nice, very nice. Is this subscription based?
Nope. Free.
Nice, nice. So with the Viz Media app, you can get watch it everywhere on your phone. It's like $2 a month or whatever. That's where I read My Hero. That's where I read Kaiju number 8, where I read Doron, Jujutsu Kaisen, and a bunch of other stuff. Um, but the first chapter is like 60 pages long, and it shows you a Japan terrorized by gigantic creatures. Which let's
And and you wonder why Toho is producing this anime.
again, I go back to my original statement: Godzilla. So um, first off, you could say that what a bland concept, or what a concept that has been done so much. Because if there's something that's been done in Japanese media or mediums, is big monsters. It's a thing. It's been done. It's a genre.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Kaiju itself is the name of the genre. so
I know.
so I like the fact that Naoya is so confident in the story that he wants to tell that he's putting kaiju front and center as the title of this book. And what makes this book so interesting is the fact that not only do we see a big monster in the first shot, like the first panel that we see is a huge kaiju monster, which is like they're not wasting any time whatsoever. I love the fact that the first panel is in color too, because it's actually pretty beautiful. Um, the colors, not the kaiju. Uh, but you can actually see the big monster terrorizing the city, and then you see it taken down and killed in the next panel by a badass that we haven't met yet. But like, isn't that surprising and counterclimactic at the same time? The fact that we have a book that's named Kaiju number 8. The first panel is a huge kaiju, but then the second panel or the second page is, oh, we killed it. It's good. It's done.
I mean, it's not this show. I would argue, based on the first chapter, is that Kaiju is sort of like in the background or in the foreground or whatever you wanna call it. It's more about the characters surrounding it, about how they are surviving and how they are approaching these creatures. It's an execution about it in that regard.
Yes. Yes. And I love the fact that we don't follow the hero. Like we see this badass that's this captain of the defense force is what they call it, right? Which is the you would say the police or the army that is in charge of dispatching all these kaijus that apparently just come up out of nowhere like a weather phenomenon, right? It's like the equivalent of an earthquake. Like we've always been shown that Godzilla is supposed to be like a metaphor of the nuclear bomb, right? It's like a simile. It's supposed to be like like an analogy, right? Of how a nuclear bomb or devastation can wreak havoc in a place, in a land, or in Japan specifically, where we see it. The dangers of nuclear war or nuclear annihilation, right? Um, but I like the fact, like you said, that this focuses on the people, which most of the best Godzilla movies do that. They really lean on deeply into the human element, which that's what a lot of people criticize of a lot of the Western takes on Godzilla, because it's more spectacle and less human, right? Um, but the whole thing about Kaiju Number 8 that's so interesting is that not only do we move away from the kaijus, right? Not only do we move away from the hero, quote unquote, that takes down the kaiju, at least in the very beginning, our hero, our main character, is part of damage control. He's a freaking janitor.
Also, can we also appreciate the fact that this is a Shonen Jump character, where the Shonen protagonist that is not a teenager, he's a grown adult.
Is this still considered shonen, even though it's the main character is an adult?
I believe so. Let me double check.
Because I don't think this falls under shonen. It has to be like a different kind of. I mean, it is shonen jump, but I would assume it would be like a different kind of um, genre.
It's in
But
Shonen Jump Plus, so
uh, yeah, I do love the fact that you have a 33-year-old, some 32-year-old guy named Kafka Hibina, which, by the way, Kafka is very interesting. Um, but he literally works cleaning off the messes that the kaiju's leave behind after they've been dispatched by the heroes or the soldiers or this awesome female femme fatale captain called Mina, right? So he's cleaning intestines, literally cleaning shit. Like I love how how all the horribleness inside of the intestines of the kaiju is all like censored. So we know how bad this looks. Like it's bad. Like we can't even show you this. I mean, we've all seen shit before, but we're not going to show you. But he's just cleaning intestines and like trying to survive. But, you know, we find out later on that he wanted to be part of the defense force. I love how I like his backstory. Like he is the kid, he is the guy that failed, right? He is the guy that did not reach his dream. He tried to be part of the defense force to kill kaijus because we know for a fact that kaijus destroyed his hometown, right? Um, and it's not till this young kid that has his eyes set on a goal that questions him why he would give up, that this whole thing starts moving forward. Which, by the way, isn't it awesome that instead of, like you said, it's awesome that we have a main character that's not a young teenager, right? But I also love the fact that you have an older character that is woken up by the young one. Does that make sense?
Yes, I do agree with that one. Yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't have that kind of dynamic, you know? It makes me like, for example, to me, one of the beauties of Up by Pixar is the fact that the young kid, the Boy Scout, which I don't know his name, um, kind of breathes life into these old guys, this depressed old guy's life. You know, he kind of like brings a smile back to him and reminds him that there is more life to be lived, even though he has been dealt so much sadness. You know, there's another hand to play, similar to what we covered in Goodwill Hunting a while back, where in a different podcast where we talked about sometimes you got to try again and play your hand, right? So I like that kind of dynamic. I like the fact that it's emotional. It feels real because we've all been there in one way, shape, or form, and we've always need someone to kick us in the ass. And I love the fact that this kid is kind of naive, but also very sincere in the way he kind of approaches the whole thing. Um, his name is, but because I don't know, because the main character is Kafka, and the name of this kid that is introduced later on, his name is Reno Ishikawa, which is funny because, of course, Reno does look like your traditional shonen hero, right?
Oh, I was muted. Sorry, but yeah, he certainly looks like your a typical shonen, which is sort of like you can call it almost a Bakugo scenario. At first, everything that's going on with Bakugo looks the type of character and all that jazz indicates that he should be the main character, but no, here comes Kafka, and he's the main lead.
Yep. And I like how they developed this very particular relationship where you kind of expect them to have like a mentor and mentoree relationship, but no, they're friends. They care for each other. Like age is not a barrier, apart from the fact that Kafka is kind of a child, but he's kind of still like a kid, right? um but he also does know when to be a man. Now he teaches Reno the ropes. um they go clean more intestines. Now they have a near death experience with a with a Yoko, which apparently, which the first thing that first off, I love the idea that from the get go they're establishing that there's different types of kaiju's. They have different names. I mean, they don't explain everything. Like at the end, you get like a little bit of like a glossary
And the fact that they're using it through a cleaning crew is kind of brilliant, honestly.
that they're introducing it, like different
The way
kaiju's.
they're, yes,
Yes, yes, I agree, because you expect you because every book like this starts with, okay, we got to start from the hero's point of view, and the hero's always going to be the one in the middle of a battle. Now, yes, you have characters like Kafka that wanted to be a hero, that wanted to be part of the defense force, and that's kind of like the driving force which justifies him fighting back to save Reno when that Yoko kaiju attacks, right? Which, by the way,
yeah,
what a hideous design, right? Which also has a lot of foreshadowing, which I think it's very important to point out. But when you look at the design of that particular monster, it's just apart of the fact that it's horrifying. Um, the humanoid aspect of it is very is a foreshadow. You know, you got to assume there's some foreshadowing here, which is very interesting because we haven't revealed to you guys the name of the chapter, but those that have read it or have seen the background here would know. But the name of chapter one, which we end up finding out the name of the chapter at the end of the chapter, not in the beginning, which is very smart. Is the fact that our main character Kafka at the end of the chapter becomes a kaiju, which
Yeah,
is which is very
in a
interesting.
rather bizarre way. Also, I want to point
Yes,
out
not only bizarre, very a disturbing way. I think
that's
bizarre.
an understatement.
Yes, um, but I love I like the details how we kind of see this kaiju that attacks them that has a lot of human like qualities. Um, I don't know. It's very interesting. But yes, he becomes a kaiju. But also the idea that he's a kaiju, but he's a regular sized, like a regular sized man, which I find very interesting.
I
Also,
do wonder though.
yeah,
Yeah, I do wonder though if because the monster that is. Have you seen Stargate as in the TV
I
show?
oh wow, I saw the movie like years ago.
Did you see the show with MacGyver himself?
No, I did not.
Because that way they go into the details of the quote unquote symbiotes, them taking a human host, uh, in which they get powers and age much differently. All that, yes, it's not as big as this, but I was just wondering because the monster says, "I found you." Is that it makes me wonder if what does that even mean? Was do they know that? Did the monster know that he were the only one that they could connect with? Why do it want to connect with him?
Yeah.
Is there any specific reason for that?
Yep.
Because one line, it's a prime example of one line that makes it so much because it would just be odd even without this line, but it becomes even more odder on top of disturbing with it.
Yeah. And it's a weird fly design too. It's like this particular monster was very specific looking for Kafka for some reason. And it bonds with him and then he becomes the kaiju that we see in this panel right here. But the interesting thing also is I love the fact that this is how the chapter closes because it goes to show you that Naoya wanted us to focus on the characters, not on the transformation, not on the adventure ahead. He wanted us to kind of connect with Kafka and connect with Reno and the near death experience and stuff like that. And also, he sprinkled a lot of things in between. Like he sprinkles the world that we're in, the badasses that we're gonna meet, because this whole thing about the freaking Japan Defense Force, and not only the fact that they destroy that that I was gonna say Mononoke, they destroy that kaiju very quickly. But come on, bro, she's rocking a tiger, bro. She's like super He-Man woman. And the funny thing is, she actually rides off tiger into the sunset. Actually, sits on top of the tiger. That's just hilarious.
No, 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 no! Don't go there, Isaac.
Oh boy, but
I was just wondering if it was any tigress suggest. That's just me being me right now. Sorry.
no, you're fine. But there's a lot of interesting things to explore. I want to see how we know that Kafka has a connection to that Mina character, because apparently she was able to fulfill their dreams, but he couldn't. But now he has become a kaiju, has got its power, has transformed. Is he going to transform back? Um, we those that have read more like us know the answer to that. But I like the mystery. I like the fact that we spend a lot of time with Kafka and we connect with Kafka because he is very relatable. He is brave and like similar to Dora Sasaki from Doran Doran. Um, he didn't pass the test that society had established needed to be the benchmark, but he still had what it took to be a hero and protect people. Even he was because he was willing to sacrifice himself for others. Like he was willing to sacrifice himself for Reno, which I mean, that's the type of hero that you want, right? And that you admire. So I don't know, man. Kaiju number 8 is pretty interesting. I like the fact that it ends with him becoming a kaiju via by okay, I'm not gonna use that word, but via harassment.
I would. You can say injection.
Yeah, but what I find interesting is that that particular insect creature that went inside his mouth, which by the way is very aliens, you know, like what like the face huggers or whatever. Um,
I
was
wouldn't
a
call it aliens, even if I do see what you mean.
but it's like it was a thinking creature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did it die inside of him? Did it stop existing?
You know what's funny?
What's funny?
I do read this manga, and I do know some of your questions right now, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Fair enough. That does that mean that we're gonna have to keep covering Kaiju number 8 to figure it out?
Yup.
You bastard. But hey, guys, Kaiju number 8 is awesome. I mean, great characters, great design, great things to look forward to. Um, great dynamics between Reno and Kafka. Um, badasses on the horizon. And it's a funny and it's funny. Like it's simple, funny, and I think we're gonna keep covering this one. It's actually pretty cool. Um, have you read Kaiju number 8? What are your thoughts of Kaiju number 8? Um, I can't wait for us to cover chapters 2 and 3 of
It's a
this.
monstrous good time.
And there it is. Um, as you guys know, we'll cover Doron Doron every 2 weeks. But whenever we don't do Doron Doron, we're doing Kaiju. So we're going to be covering these two shows simultaneously. So stay tuned so you don't miss any of the videos on our thoughts of Kaiju number 8. There's a lot of great characters, a lot of good story. I think Naoya has a very fresh take on the Kaiju genre. And you should definitely want to check it out with us. And as preparation of the future anime that will premiere at some point from Toho. So, Isaac, we've talked Kaiju number 8. We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Where can people find you, man?
Well, you can find my work over at Boom Entertainment, and you can find me over at Emblemaniac on Twitter.
And you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter, Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram, and the Scarlet Fan 52 on TikTok, even though I have no idea what I'm doing there. And you can follow us at the Amateur Otaku Pod on Twitter. If you love Kaiju number 8, keep following us because we're going to keep talking about it and keep breaking down these chapters and what we enjoy of them. But if you read it and you enjoy it, let us know why, because we want to have a conversation with you guys and build this anime awesome community of the Amateur Otaku Pod. Have it awesome, guys. Peace.
Hej då!